Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nelias Wanjiko, and on today's episode we have a lovely guest who I am delighted to host, and she is familiar to those of us who have watched my previous episodes. And one of the things that stood out for me from that episode is the importance of having one friend who you truly trust and a friend who can hold your hand through difficult times. And I am excited for us to meet the lovely lady who was a friend to Mama King. So I will let her introduce herself as we hear her story. Karibu sana kwenye show.
Asante sana.
Please introduce yourself.
Kwa majina, naitwa Magdaline Mockoya, aka Meg. Basi mlisikia the previous episode, eh?
Yes. Lazima kwa amesikia.
Yes, so Mama King is my BFF, yani rafiki wa dhati. So it has been a journey, imekuwa safari nzuri. Na kukuwa hapa pia ni kwa niaba yake pia. Because of her, I've gotten to get to know you, and I thank God for this opportunity. Well, I've been asked to introduce myself. Well, I'll start again. My name is Magdaline Muckoya. I'm a mom of a 6-year-old, beautiful girl. Hopefully you'll get to meet her.
We would love to.
Along the show, yeah?
Yeah.
And Magdaline is a powerhouse vocalist. People just keep hearing that. But practically, again, we'll meet it along the show.
Yeah, I will have to ask her to sing for us because powerhouse is a very strong word, so I would love to get her to sing for us.
We will belt it all the way from the diaphragm.
Absolutely.
Other than that, I'm a communication student, former, that is. Communication is my path. I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm a host and a presenter. And aside from that, just doing life every day as each day comes about.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Even before we get to your story, Rose really emphasized on how important it is to have friends who hold your hand, and we are absolutely delighted to have you. So I want to hear from you. How was it hosting your friends during this COVID period? Even before you get to tell us your story, because I know you have a story minus the one that Rose told us about. So how was it for you?
Wow, let's start from I'm a single mom with a baby. I have my BFF with a baby. So you can imagine the drama, the bills. But Rose, in one way or the other, before we were moms, we were friends. So then Corona happens, there is a crisis. And east or west, we have to hold each other's hands. So she was going through a journey, a phase that I had to understand, because if it were me, I believe someone else genuinely would do the same, hold my hand. So we walked through the journey. It was quite tough.
I can imagine. She did tell us a story, and we were wowed by that story.
Yes. Did she begin with where she was just still pregnant?
She didn't tell us that part, but she was still pregnant. Clearly, there's info we missed.
Yes, yes, because she didn't have a baby before. Then she's pregnant, and we have to go through the journey of pregnancy.
Also, you guys went together through the 9 months pregnancy period.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Then delivery. Oh my God. Delivery. Then after delivery. And then, yes, we just brought about, you know, King now is here. Reality is here. And these are 2 babies. I have to be a mommy to 3. Yes, because she's a new mom. Me, I'm having my 5-year-old at a time, because now she's 6. And they have to somehow just all grow. I have to teach her to be a man. I have to raise King now that he's the toddler in the house and the very baby, cute. And wow. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not an easy journey.
I can imagine.
Fortunately, I was at work, so somehow we were able to go about bills. House helps. Oh, we changed house helps. Oh my God, I think we did 6 house helps.
The struggle that is getting a house help in Nairobi.
It's not easy. And yeah, somehow we made it through. It wasn't easy. At the time, I think our relationship was also going through the rocks.
Yes.
So we had to just go through it anyway. Then there was the time where she had to go now live with the in-laws. And yeah, she lived with the in-laws as tradition
it is. Yeah.
Then she's done with that chapter. She has to come back, and we have to restart life again. And we just keep going and pulling each other. At the time when she was coming back from the in-laws, I had my small business. Now I'm getting into my story. I had my small business where I was running a small boutique, and she's here also trying to look for some financial something, some income,
some backup.
Yes. So she steps in to do this job. She has to go visit salons, visit offices, just to do the marketing of the clothes.
So she has to walk from one office to the other, one shop to the other,
salon to another. Yes, yes, because where we had like a small setup, it didn't go too well with the kanjo, as they call them. Yes, so we had to just now devise another method. So we were doing it both online, because we take photos of what we are selling, then we market through WhatsApp and Facebook, all those social media grounds. And then now she had to do the live work. So she would leave the baby with the house help. She had to pump milk, leave it behind. So sometimes we'd go out of stock of what she's pumped. So she has to again run back, supply. It was crazy, but
so in this period, are you working aside from running the boutique, or are you guys doing it together?
In the office. I'm reporting to my employer. Yes, but you see, I have to be on call always. Okay, is the nanny faring okay with the baby? Because now this is a new journey. Because she found an already grown child. Then now there is a newborn. Yes.
Wow, that is a lot, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we, on behalf of everybody else, first of all, we are super grateful for you, and we are absolutely, I personally am very happy to know that we have a few people who are still very humane. It's very difficult to come across a friend such as you, and especially to hold someone else's hand when we are all going through this very difficult period. So cheers to you.
Oh, we thank God. It's the grace.
And Rose is doing amazing. We've seen and we've had her triumph story. So we're very grateful to know that we have people like you. It doesn't come easy.
It's not easy.
So now let's get to your story. How has COVID been like for you before COVID? Now that we're dealing with COVID, and what's your story?
COVID phase 1, phase 2. Phase 1 hit me kabisa, because it's a time when the boutique was running, despite the kanjo fights and all that. I have Rosie here, the baby, actually the 2 babies. You can't forget my Tessie. So it took me, I do not know how to explain it, like a whirlwind, because COVID-1, there was nothing like buying mutumba. There was that thing where kivaizi nguo, they are also affected. They are infected, they are affected.
Oh, that time when guys were saying because mtumba comes from sijui where, so they come with oh my goodness,
zimevaliwa na wale ambao they are already affected. So if you're selling to somebody, itampatia ile ugonjwa. So there was no market for these outfits, all these clothes. It was such a challenge, because I knew at least nikipata shilingi 2, shilingi 3, that's diaper there, that's milk there, that's, you know, some bills are being paid. Then I have this, my monthly income ikikuja, at least there's a booster. So this business went down, down kabisa. So here I am, yani kama naanza from scratch tena. Tukachapana na maisha. God has been faithful. We went through and through, and we did successfully, you know. And then a friend of mine, while I'm still working, a friend of mine decided to ask me kama naweza pata watu 2 or 3 I can refer to her company, because she was looking for some sales people. So akiniongelesha vile, and I'm thinking, Rosie ndio amesoma, she's done sales practically hivi na nguo, but can she do it like in the corporate world? Can she do it in this business industry and all these things?
Because corporate sales and retail sales are very different.
Totally
very
different. So for her, when my friend met her, they got this just like a small acquaintance, they talked. Somehow she just sold herself to this friend of mine, because this lady is very tough. Akajiuza kwa kujitetea tu mwenyewe, si masomo yake, si nini. So this lady was impressed, and she was like, no, I will take you up. I understand even your story. I will take you up, train you, and, you know, take you up and just run my business. So we thank God that phase, as much as ilituchapa kweli, but at least she was able to pick up her pieces, akasimama, akawa sasa an independent person. I mean, pia nikaendelea kuwa mami na kuendelea na biashara. So COVID phase 1 ndio ilitutwanga lakini tukasimama. Then come COVID phase 2. Jamani. Ndio ameshikilia kazi yake. Huku botiki yangu hijaamka. Mimi huyu bado naendelea na kazi. But let me tell you what. Today we're in April, right?
Yeah.
I think the other day when I was chatting you, I was trying to tell you, officially on 20th of this month, I'm being rendered redundant.
Yeah,
you can imagine what that means.
Yeah.
That renders me jobless.
Yeah.
And here I have to keep my brave face. I have a little girl. I have kin to raise. Actually, I raise them. The three, those I call my children.
Your children, yes.
Because I believe my assignment on this earth is not only to be a singer, to be a motivational speaker, raise Tessie. I believe I'm supposed to impact a life or two, such that nikifika kule binguni nikiulizwa what did you do on this earth, there is a report. So I put it in me. It is me to do it. Sitangoja mtu mwingine aje afanye. So here I am, I'm thinking, wait, 20th April, okay, madam, you're jobless. Where do you begin? From? You know? So that means I have again to relocate. Did she tell you that we had at one time got to Kajiado?
Yes. That was, I think, the highlight of our story.
Yes.
And it shocked us because how did you even get there with the curfew and the child?
Well, somehow, as in God, I don't know, for us, God has really fought for us.
His grace has been sufficient.
Yes, He has been our husband, our all-time man. You know, that man who never turns his back. That one. Because sometimes you even want to change a bulb and you're thinking the way we are all short. Some point. But somehow, He just gets us there and we have our lights and we go on, you know. So, Mungu ametutetea sana. So I get deployed. From this current employment, I get deployed and I have to go to the main factory, which is in Kajiado.
So where were you working at this particular? What's the job that you're doing, and how are you guys doing your work at this point? And have you been laid off work in the first phase of COVID, or are you still working?
First phase of COVID, we were still working along Mombasa Road. I'm trying not to mention company names.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
But what do you do so that we can understand?
Sales.
Okay.
At Mombasa Road, I was doing sales and company secretary and administration, basically.
Okay.
So yes, reporting directly to the CEO and the sales manager.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So basically, my sales was in the office. I was not going to the fields, telesales, customer service, all that same day.
So phase 1, you still retained your job.
Yes. Okay. Fortunately, but the boutique is closed.
The boutique is
so
closed.
We do not have backup. Yes. Then now phase 2 and Corona 2, phase 2 Corona, and I'm deployed. I have to go to Kajiado. I have to now at there. I'm done with sales. Now I've gone to HR and administration, health and safety, compliance. So
same company?
Yes. Same company, different roles, no salary increase.
Wow.
So you can imagine, no logistical arrangement, nothing. But because you know there's mouths to feed, bills to pay, life to live, you do what you have to do. Yes, so I proceeded, carried my team, in fact carried my family, because I call it
now
family.
You have a family.
Yes, yes, the 4 of us make the family. So we proceeded together and I carried on. It was really hard adjusting, especially with the water crisis in Kajiado. Oh, did I mention the sun?
Yeah, I mean it's
by the way.
You look very, very good.
Thank God.
You look very good.
I thought I'd be. You're not mentioning. I thought I'd cross over to Sudan.
God's grace.
Yes, He has kept us. He has kept us. So yes, we went on by and by. So when my lady friend approached me, is when now I had to introduce Rosie, and she had to come back. To Nairobi. Yes, so fortunately the roads were open. She came back easily. Now to adjust, settle herself, settle the baby, that took us again, it hit us. But somehow we managed. I ensured that she settled. This lady also somehow helped us get a place, you know, and just somehow settle. Settle in Nairobi as I'm settling in Kajiado. So we proceeded on with life, work, communication. When we are off like leaves, of course we cross counties to go visit each other, but most of the times finding her has been a bit hard because of her assignment. She used to travel county after county every week, but at least we'd ensure that the baby is fine. So of course, and my ongoing child in school and all that, adjusting to a new environment. It has been tough.
So now, how was it like for you? Now you've been deployed back to Kajiado. So now, how was your work environment? And now think COVID. I mean, a new county, or rather, I mean, Kajiado. You know, with all of us, it's interesting how different counties are dealing with this thing differently. It's almost as if it's only Nairobi that has the virus. So how was it for you, like, now the movement? And
in Kajiado, in fact, unless it's just that news had it, because now they started to get very particular about counties and how it's been affecting different counties. Kajiado was not keen about corona. People are going on with life as usual. Jua inachoma, so homa iko wapi? So hii mask ni hatutapumua, you know, and then it's a dusty area. So yeah, we went along, you know, just carried on. But of course, where we are from, you know that this thing is risky. So I had to be on my mask throughout, even the schools. Now, for my baby's sake, she had to be on a mask every day. No slugging about it. And then yeah, we just coped somehow. So I've just been working, living, learning the hard life with salty water. So, but when I would get visitors, they would carry me some fresh water, at least to keep life going, so that I cook normal food with fresh water.
With fresh water.
Yes.
Wow.
But the boutique business, that one is still sleeping.
So now your boutique business, as you described it, is now sleeping, and your job, the position at work, is being declared redundant. So now what? So now what happens from here?
Well, it's tough, I must say. In fact, I get sleepless nights about it. But my Father in heaven keeps telling me, cast your burdens and cares unto me. You know the way we are human. You know the way the flesh is stronger than the spirit, and He requires your spirit to be stronger than the flesh. Yeah, so I get those moments where the human is stronger, the flesh is stronger than the spirit. Because the way I look at it, from even where we are viewing it, I must confess, it's going to be, we've appealed. So, because when we look at it, it's man force. Because it's just someone who is, it's vendetta basically. So, in as much as they're trying to be professional about it and using all those legal jargons, but you see, now we have to take the legal path as well, so that they can also showcase.
This is why it is the way it is.
Yes. So, but we both, where we are seated, it is just wrong. So I don't want to delve into much about it. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at it on the brighter side. Hopefully that when I get manpower and finances again to stabilize the boutique, we will now get it up, now not on the road and doing all this door-to-door biashara. We'll get a short form setup. Yes, a nice thing just going. And then, of course, now for business, as in employment, I'm online. And here I am marketing myself. I mean, media, you can call me. Basically, I can use my voice a lot, so I can anchor news. You know, I can anchor both Swahili and English, because at least I believe my diction is good. And
it is good. It is great. It is.
You know, so, and I believe I'm also camera friendly.
Yeah, I mean, but of course.
Yes, so aside from that, I can do PR, marketing, and I believe the skills acquired through my public relation classes is what actually keeps me this composed. Because there's these techniques you keep learning, because you cannot just be all out there, as much as you want to be all outspoken, but there's a way you have to package yourself. Yes, so by and by, I have learned to practice the theory I've gotten in school to put it into reality. Yes.
While you and I were conversing before today, there was a triumph somewhere in your story.
Yes.
That's what I want to hear. Tell us about your triumph now.
Now, aside from dying or getting killed with this corona, something happened. You know, with the way I love music, I got this producer who just, we've been friends, you know, for some time. And then I get this call. And that was like the turning point. This producer calls me and tells me, Maggie, I need you in the studios. Now, this musical world, people know me as Magdaline. But the rest of the world, with the karaoke fans and all that, they call me Meg. So In this musical journey, when I was introduced into the music fraternity 2008, most of the people have not known my small background, but I was one of the contestants for Tasker Project Fame.
Hold on, guys. As in, have you guys heard, do you know, when she introduced herself, she said she is a powerhouse vocalist. So have you heard her background? You said you were what? You said you were what?
Yes. I'm a former contestant of the Tasker Project Fame, so I featured in season 2.
Guys, I mean, she has to sing for us, but okay, that will wait.
Yes. So when this producer approached me this year during phase 2 of Corona, I just said, God, you have a way, you know, because I've been meaning to get back to the studios and just sing, let my heart out, because I'm not just called to be a singer. In the spiritual world, I'm called to be a worshiper. Yes, so I've also been in the worship journey in churches, and so when he called me, and he's a gospel producer, I felt it is my time. Yes, that despite all the left, right slaps I am getting, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. So I've been in the studio. I've been able to record 3 numbers. So
guys,
yes, 3 beautiful numbers. So I'm just counting them as tiny as they are. There are more. There is more coming. Some are just small demos. Some are just choruses we've put together. So when I say 3, these are complete songs are waiting just to be mastered, videos attached, and it's on the
they're just sent out to us.
Yes.
My goodness, even before we continue, please sing for us. Please let us hear just a little bit, and then we can continue with the story.
So from which side? From the Tasker world or my spiritual side?
Please, both of them. Both of them.
You know, my signature song when I was at Tasker Project Fame, when I was introduced to the world, was the song by The Cause, Breathless. Go on, leave me breathless. That one.
Guys, my goodness. Even if I tried to sing like that, I wouldn't be able to hit that note.
You can.
You know, you have a beautiful voice. You have a very beautiful voice. And I can see how that for you is an amazing chant right there, because you know, it's interesting how for some of us it's up until COVID came and happened that certain things that we did not even imagine are beginning to happen to us. So how does it feel now to now be able to pursue the very thing that you have loved and you've wanted to pursue ever since TPF?
Maybe I would sing it. Kama sio wewe ningekuwa nani mimi, kama sio wewe ningeitwa nani mimi, nimejawa na neema na rehema tele, nimejawa na furaha na shukrani tele. Basically, I give God
my goodness
thanks.
Wow,
I just give him thanks because he has loved me. He has saved me. He has spared my life. And I know that even these doors being shut, it's not the end of my day.
It clearly it isn't.
Yes.
It isn't, and it can be. There's one thing that I am picking from you, and I am so jazzed that especially because of the times that we're living in, people and someone like you, you still believe in God.
Yes.
It is amazing, amazing to watch. What is your relationship with God like? How has it been? Have you felt a bit challenged, especially now during this period? And how have you been able to overcome? Because I know one of the things that your friend told us is at some point she felt, like God had a comment. What has your relationship with God been like? Has it been challenged? Have you been challenged? Is it better now? Is it, how is it?
Of course, I have gone through the murky waters. But that assurance that he still got me, 2021 is it? Because I will tell you, it's also another story again for another day. When you've gone through 5 surgeries and at your last, you are at a semi-coma, but he's still punched in the blood and you woke up to testify of his goodness. I believe 2021 has got me something.
It has to be.
Yes, it has not been easy. I doubted his faithfulness, but he keeps assuring me, I've got you. My girl, I've got you. You are my daughter. You are chosen. You are a star. Even when they have tried to cut down your brightness, you will still shine.
Yes. You will still light the path.
Yes.
I mean, that's really, really amazing to hear. Do you have a friend, aside from Rose, who's held your hand?
Yes.
How do you feel about friendship? Especially, I mean, COVID has shown me interesting things. So I am constantly curious to hear, what do you feel? How do you feel about friendships? And I know you've been an amazing friend to one of your friends.
Yes.
So have you had someone to hold your hand?
Yes. In fact, what guides me into this journey of friendship is my unsung hero, my one and only, my irreplaceable, the man I call my father. My father is my pillar. My father is my best friend. My father is the counselor that has never misguided me. My father has held my hand. In fact, I will tell you, let me be open about this. My upbringing has not been the best. Because I have a mom, yes, and I have a dad. But my upbringing has been raised by one parent. So he has been the mother and the father in my life. And not that my mother was not there. She has been there. We are 6 in my family. And somehow, we just didn't click. But with my dad, we've always just
had a beautiful relationship.
Yes. And it really took him a lot to actually get to understand that he has a daughter who is different from the rest. And it's not because of my complexion or what, not because of my character or what. There is just a bit of me in there that only he understands, because with the rest we clash. Even with my mom, we clash. But he gets to pick and understand and walk the journey with me. So he has held me. He has never turned his back on me. He has, let me get a bit personal. You know the times when you're in your periods, the way it can get embarrassing? But he's the man who would find me cramping because I cramp on my back. He would dash fast to the supermarket to get me pads. Because he's sure he would check somewhere and not see anything. And you see the way you can get too much shame. You do not want to walk or even discuss. You're thinking, who will you send? And you're thinking the way you're fighting with your siblings. But my dad was that friend. I would tell him, hey daddy, hiyo siku imefika. Siku imefika. First he will dash, get me the sanitary, get me painkillers, and then just allow me to sail through.
In the beginning of this video, you told us that you're a motivational speaker and you like to inspire people. And something about your story has stood out for me. Your relationship with your parents. And so many of us, young people especially, we're going through this phase where we don't have a relationship with our parents and we're really, really struggling with that space. What would you tell someone who's in that space right now?
First of all, we have to accept it's not easy. It's not an easy journey when you're feeling alienated, segregated, all that you're the black sheep of the family. What you're required to do before I even go too far, respect your parents. That parent that you feel is the one person that does not really appreciate you or your presence or your being or not, respect them, give them their space. But that parent who appreciates you, hopefully somehow they'd be sober enough to create a positive environment and to bring the two of you to be on one page. If that will not happen, along the way, like I keep saying, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So I want to believe somehow something will just happen. It doesn't have to be a sad story or something marchy and murky. It can be a nice story that will just bring the two of you together somehow. So do not give up. I didn't give up. I keep my smile going. Called it a professional, you know. So keep going. Keep going strong. Hold your head up high. You know, walk tall. Something good will happen.
The one thing that makes me so delighted to have you here is that aside from, of course, this show being one of the things that is geared towards encouraging people who are going through a difficult time right now, especially during COVID, is that you are very passionate about inspiring people. Now, in this space of not having a relationship with my parents, because it's not necessarily affected by COVID, what would you advise? Say me, I have trouble with my parents, I don't relate to my parents. What would you advise them to do in that space? Because then one thing we've also realized is that it creates a void. So then you go seeking other things to fill that space, yet only your parents or God can fill that space. What do we do?
I know of circumstances or instances where people diverted their thoughts to these illegal things, illegal acts and traits, drugs, sexual abuse, because you're thinking, my father doesn't love me, this other man will love me better, fill the gap, and you end up being abused. So the best I would tell, if you're old enough and have the money, rent a space. Give yourself some space. Sometimes space is very important. Like for my case, I took space instead of delving into something wrong. And it helped me because mommy and I we would burn our house. So for me not to not push her too much, because sometimes I would feel, she would feel that I'm the one who's pushing her too much. But from my end, I am feeling she is pushing me because I have all the rights to be there anyway. So the best I would do is just leave, just vacate, get a space, but maintain my bed. When I turn up, please, I want to sleep on my bed. Yes, so on my bed with my sheets. Yes. So it has not been easy. So if you do not have resources, the one thing, as I've said initially, respect
your parents.
Respect. Don't argue. Silence. Sometimes I know prayers. Prayers is the key. It can get too difficult because you're thinking, as in, God, where are you? As in, with all these struggles. No, naacha tu wananitendea hivi. My best friend keeps telling me, you know, you have a strong discerning spirit. Use that thing that you're calling some sensitivity, your sixth sense. If it tells you pray, just pray.
Just pray.
Yes. If it tells you keep quiet, follow that one. If it tells you fight, run away, don't fight. Yes. Follow that sixth positive sense. And somehow, it will just materialize to something good. It's not easy. It's a lonely space to be at. Very lonely. But ensure not to divert your thoughts and whatever you want to do with your life. Let it not be anything negative.
Because nothing else can fill that void.
Nothing.
I'm really amazed by your story. What would you tell someone who is struggling with COVID? You know, they don't have a job, they don't have money. You know, for you, your story is amazing because aside from your job being declared redundant, you know, you were able to come up with something else and get back to the studio and start doing music. So there's something that you're holding on to. But what would you tell someone who doesn't have that thing to hold on to?
I wish I was a miracle worker, you know, because I would take up all those people, you know, we just get creative. You know, people of the arts world, it's easy somehow. We see it, yes, sometimes they look like we're wasting a lot of time. But you see, at that time is when we get very creative. We sit, we sing, we write poems, we get creative with our designs, you know. So for someone else who probably has not even identified their talent, now that can be a challenge. But what I would advise, if there's something in you that you know you're good at, if it's farming, go do that farming. If it's helping at a children's home, visit there, help, volunteer, just do something. Keep your mind active, but of course observe the key rules. Wash your hands, sanitize, mask, distance, wash the surface areas. Now they've introduced the hemu, you know. Ensure your space is clean, but keep your mind active with something, lest you just lose your mind to these things of the world.
I think most of us, especially us young people, have really had a journey to go with the parents. You know, there's something that we usually told that sometimes, especially when you grow up, your parent doesn't get to know you as an adult. They're left knowing you as a child they knew. So I think it's important that we, you know, give some grace to our parents. I think it's really, because it also helps build a relationship with them. This has been an amazing show. I have absolutely enjoyed hosting you today, and I would love for us to share your story because it has been an amazing story.
Thank you.
Now, before we close this show, I would like for you to tell us, where can we find you? Because you've sung for us, you've told us you know, were once a contestant at TPF. Where can we find you?
To find Magdaline, you have to go to either Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So the best way to find me, when you spell Magdaline, ensure it's with an I. I for ink, not E for egg. Magdaline Mockoya with a C before K. Without the C, that's not me. So that's me on Facebook. That's me on Twitter. That's me at Msani Magda. You'll find me there on Instagram.
Are you on YouTube?
Yes, yes. Just spell my name that way. Magdaline with an I.
Okay. So we'll find you on YouTube as Magdaline Mockoya.
Yes.
Okay. What would you like to say before? What are your closing words or your closing remarks?
I would love to echo my father's words. As the saying goes, Tenda wema, nenda zako. And as my spiritual authorities keep reminding us, and as the word keeps also reminding us, do not give up, because your latter will be greater. Your latter will be greater. Your latter will be greater than your past. So keep going forward. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. One major highlight for me from Magdalene's story is even during this very difficult time, even when you don't have something to do, you don't have a job to go to, get busy. Get something that you can do, minus just being home and feeling sad and being, I mean, of course it's a situation and a place that we all understand because there's nothing we can do, you know, but don't stay home and do nothing, right? And because Magdalene is a friend to this family of ours, something again from, you know, our previous episode with Rose, something again that she's mentioned is friendship is important. She has brought family, and I'm really, really impressed to hear that you've had and yourself have an amazing relationship. It's very, very hard to come by that, especially because now we're living in a time where, you know, young girls are becoming parents at quite a young age. So that's really, really amazing. And something else that you've also mentioned is your relationship with God. I keep saying, and like in my last episode, I said that I have a relationship with God. And I'm very impressed to hear that you also have a relationship with God. And of course, guys, sometimes it gets tough. You know, you're not promised a beautiful life just because you and God have a relationship, or you believe in God, or you're a Christian. It gets tough sometimes. But the one thing that we're promised is that it gets better. And He will always be there. He will hold your hand through it all. So don't give up. Keep holding on. We shall get through this period. Of course, it's difficult for all of us. Continue to keep safe. Sanitize. Mask up. We did sanitize and we took off our mask specifically for the shoot. So that was it for today, guys. Until next time, this is Nelias.